British media and the Western media have not only failed, they've either buried these statements, they haven't covered them, and they certainly haven't framed their coverage about Israel's intent around these statements, because they were always the best predictors of what Israel has gone on to do. This is the gaslighting, people getting angry because what was in the hearts of the people chanting it? Was it hatred of Jewish people? No one actually thinks that. What the actual in their hearts was, I am really angry and upset at having to spend 21 months of watching daily despicable atrocities. My politicians and media outlets are not sharing my outrage. Instead, they're arming and whitewashing these crimes. This is ridiculous. The world has gone insane.
If you don't, and it's really simple, right? If you don't want people chanting that at Glastonbury, I think it'd be better to live in a world where we don't have to chant death to anyone, right? But if you don't want people to be angry about a foreign, brutal, genocidal military, maybe you should stop that foreign, genocidal, brutal military from doing its crimes. And yet, on the Monday after Glastonbury, the Israelis carried out one of the worst massacres they've carried out in weeks. They bombed a seaside cafe. They killed 23 people there, including journalists. They bombed, 30 people at the cafe, another 23 Palestinians trying to get food aid, over 70 people just on Monday. I mean, that's one day. Since then, many more have been killed. But isn't it ironic to spend the weekend saying, you can't say this about the IDF, and then on Monday, the IDF go and kill loads of civilians, therefore making the point of the protesters and the musicians in Glastonbury. And that coverage, by the way, I think it's fair to say, and it's not just about the right-wing media. That's what's so tragic about this entire story. The BBC is one of the villains of all of this in terms of its coverage of Gaza. The BBC devoted more stories, we checked, and more words to Glastonbury and death to the IDF than they did to the actual deaths of Palestinian people on Monday in Gaza, which I think is unforgivable, inexcusable, racist. And the BBC has failed time and again. And I can say this, we're taping this on the day where this evening we're going to be airing globally the documentary Gaza, Doctors Under Attack from Basement Films, which Zeteo has acquired global rights for. Channel 4 will be airing it in the UK at 10 p.m. This was a film that was supposed to go out on the BBC ages ago, Owen, ages ago. And the BBC sat on it. They refused to air it. They said, we're investigating another documentary that they got pressured for by the pro-Israel side because a child in that documentary was seen as biased because his father was a junior official in the government in Gaza. Therefore, everyone in that film is now Hamas. They didn't air this film, which was a meticulous, well-documented investigation, as people will see today, of the systematic attack on Gaza's healthcare system, the destruction of hospitals, the attacks on paramedics and ambulances, the killing and torture of doctors.